Do you love God? Do you know God? Did you know Jesus loved God? Many people have loved God. Millions, billions of people have loved God. They really have. And you don't have to see God to love God. What you have to do is know and understand that there are deceivers. And deceivers are deceived. God has never been deceived. He never has. From the beginning, God has never been deceived. He has done a lot of things since the beginning. In the beginning, God created. He did. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and all of its hosts. God created everything that has been created. And it was good. How do you know? How do I know what God has created was good? I can read. God saw it and knew it was good. Yeah. That's about like a baker that's knowing how to bake bread. He knows how to mix the ingredients. And he can taste the bread after it is baked, and he will know how good it is. God can see as well as he can smell. You might not have heard that phrase before, but God can see as well as he can smell. And God created Adam. He created Adam years ago. He only created one. And then he put Adam to sleep and fashioned, formed, created another from Adam. So there we have the beginning. In the beginning, God created Adam in his image. And from Adam has come all of the images of God that can be seen, because they have been made in the likeness, in the image of God. Adam was the image of God. And if you put Eve standing next to Adam, it would be obvious that Eve was not like Adam. It just would. It would be obvious. If you stood Eve up naked as they were in the garden, you had Adam and Eve standing beside each other, you could see that they did not look alike. They were not alike. And Adam and his wife got together and created or brought forth. They didn't create them, because God is the creator. Whatever God creates can do whatever God created it for. There's no question in my mind. And God had created Adam from the dust, and he had created Eve from Adam. And they did not look alike. They did not sound alike. They just weren't alike. But the woman that God created, taking her from Adam, had the ability to produce male and female. That's what she can do. That's what Eve could do. If you are a woman, as Eve was, if God so allows you, you can or you will reproduce offspring. And you can, according to what happened years ago, you can decide on your own and get yourself pregnant. If you are a woman, a man cannot get pregnant no matter how hard he tries. It's not going to happen. But a woman, a female, a daughter of anyone can reproduce, male or female. There has never been yet a woman that produced a dog or a cat. Never has it happened. Go talk to a doctor that delivers children from women, and they see a lot of, I guess you could say, not formed so well sometimes. And I'm not smart enough to tell you why something does not form well sometimes. All I can do is tell you that God created everything that has been created. He is the builder. He is the maker. If you have lived, you have been made. It's just that simple. And you could not have lived or breathed without God. The God that if you would buy a Bible and turn to Genesis chapter 1, you would begin to be able to know and understand God. And you can understand God. You can. So don't think that you can't understand God. The first man that God created was Adam, and Adam understood God. The first woman that God formed and fashioned could understand God. Human beings can understand God. Do you understand that? I wish people would get it, that they can. A human being can understand God. And if you want to know about God, then there's only one book that you can buy that contains 66 books, and you can read it from cover to cover. That's known as a Bible. Bible. That's what a Bible, that's the word. That describes a certain book with certain information in it. If you don't have what is known today as the Bible, with 66 books in it, you don't have a Bible. I will put in front of me now, as you can see, it says Holy Bible, New American Standard. That's what I have I have just put right there in front of us. Holy Bible, New American Standard. Now that is a Bible. It is a Bible. If it says Bible on the front, it should be a Bible, and it should contain certain things inside of it. And as you can see, there are words written on pages. And a Bible, or what I am calling a Bible, has these in it. There's 2 pages. Books of the Old Testament, books of the New Testament. That, my friends, in front of me, that I have in my hand, is a Bible. And I'm going to say that this one, let's just go ahead and just say that this Bible is complete. It does not lack information in it. It doesn't. It's got all of the books. It's got all of the words in it that should be in a Bible. Yep, it does. God created the heavens and the earth. And the things that he created, he got it done in 6 days. There were more than 6 days. There was evening and there was morning. One day. One day is a day. God created it that way. God did. Now, do you believe God? Or do you believe the devil? Those are the only 2 that dealt with Adam and Eve. Adam did not have to deal with any of the problems that you have to deal with, because today there are billions of potential problems. But Adam did not have that to deal with. Adam only had to do what God commanded. And he got in trouble because he listened to the voice of his wife. I do not have a clue what Eve said to Adam as she presented him food from the tree from which they were not supposed to eat, because if they ate of that tree, they would definitely die. Why? Because God said so. Yes, he did. This is the God, the Lord God. The Lord God. In Genesis chapter 1, I can turn to it right here, and I can see that there is God. God, 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 and God. I see God, the word God, a lot of times on that page right there. Now, I have turned to the next page, and there is God, there is God, there is God, there is God. And then in chapter 2, you have the Lord God. God, the Lord God, caused things to grow out of the ground. And you can read about what happened in chapter 2. That's when the Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper." That's what God said. God said, "I will make him a helper." And God did. Now, if you want to see what has happened with men and women, if you will buy, purchase, or just read, you don't even have to buy it and purchase it. You can read it. You can read in Genesis and see what God did with the first earth that Adam walked on. There was a garden in it. It was the garden of God. It was the one that God had made. The only God had made it. And Adam was placed in it for a period of time. Nobody has seen on this earth the garden. Although now, over the whole earth, it's God's garden. Everywhere you go on the earth and see something alive is God's garden. And the only God has had a son named Jesus, born by a woman, married to a man. Jesus will be the King of the kingdom forever. He was born to be the king. He will be the king. And his kingdom will not be destroyed. If there is something that won't be destroyed, it will remain. Are you going to inherit the kingdom? Or will you be cut off? And there are things that will determine you're inheriting the kingdom or whether you don't. What you say and what you do. What you say and what you do.